We now have the Minister of the newly created Ministry of Regional Development in the person of Abubakar Momoh joining us. Thanks so much for joining us on Newsnight. First, let's start with this concern in many quarters, especially those living in the Niger Delta region. They're concerned about the fate of the NDDC, which was established over 20 years ago to meet, the developmental challenges in that region, and of course the Niger Delta region itself, since the ministry has been scrapped. What's your response or reaction to these concerns?
Thank you very much. I think yesterday, I wouldn't know if you were present at the press gallery, and this question came up, and we did justice to it. As far as the current restructuring of the ministry is concerned, it has no impact or no effect on the NDDC. What has been done is a change of name from the Ministry of Niger Delta to Ministry of Regional Development. And this became necessary because there are quite a number of development commissions across the country, like the Northeast Development Commissions, Northwest, Southwest, and a host of others. So it's every region now has a development commission. And if they must be effectively supervised by a ministry, the name Ministry of Niger Delta can no longer fit in. So there is a need to do some amendment to that name. Hence, Ministry of Regional Development came up. I think when this issue was first mentioned yesterday, quite a number of people were apprehensive, particularly the way and manner the head was couched, to the extent that it was said, Ministry of Niger Delta has been scrapped. I think what readily comes to mind of anybody is, what is the fate of the NDDC? What is the fate of the ministry itself? But I made it clear yesterday that the change of name from Ministry of Niger Delta to Ministry of Regional Development has no negative impact on what has been happening in the Niger Delta region. The NDDC is still fully on course, performing its role and its function under the supervision of the current Ministry of Regional Development, just as other commissions that have been set up across the 6 geopolitical zones will also be operating under the Ministry of Niger Delta, the Ministry of Regional Development. So it's not anything to be worried about. I think what has just happened is an expansion or scope of activity of the Ministry of Niger Delta. And the name was only changed, like I said, just because other regions which do not fall under Niger Delta are now coming under the supervision of the ministry. So essentially, that is what has been done. And of course, Mr. President means very well for the country. And what he's doing is to bring development further close to the people at the grassroots, because all these development agencies are purely interventionist agencies that will help to address development challenges in most of these regions.
Let me come in here, Minister Momoh, before we go ahead to tell the President thank you. Let's talk about this big task before you. I'm happy you rounded off by saying that this is still talking about a larger scope. How do you hope to bring 6 regions, because it looks to me like a mini Nigeria, on your palm? How do you hope to ensure that you have a robust developmental plan that will start showing across the 6 geopolitical zone now that you are the big man in charge?
Well, to bring about this, I have already told you that these regional developments are interventionist agency. They are not there to take over the full functions of other ministries. For instance, the Ministry of Works is still there to oversee road development in each of these regions. The Ministry of Health, which is also facing the development of health nationwide. The Ministry of Education is there. The mere fact that we have development commissions does not mean that the ministries that are being be in existence can no longer operate. They will still be in operation. For instance, NDDC has been there for almost over 20 years. And yet, we have ministries and the rest of them also performing function. What that means is that when you have this agency in place, there are those development challenges.
That's not what I meant. Abubakar Momoh, sorry, let me butt in here. That's not what I meant. I clearly understand that. I'm saying now, you know, we had the Northeast Development Commission. We had people who were superintending all of that. Now that you are the minister in charge of all six, I'm asking how you intend to activate that developmental plan that will go around these regions and ultimately across Nigeria.
Please come again because I didn't quite hear you.
Okay, I'm saying you already have people who were in charge of these who were in charge of these commissions. Now that they're all under a ministry, so-called the Regional Development Commission, ministry, how do you hope to work with these people? Who heads these commissions? Are those who were there before still in charge, but to report to you? Those are some of the key concerns we want to get from you.
I get you now. For instance, I can say there is only two that have been in operation, that are effectively in operation. Let me just say one, because NDDC, we have been with NDDC before now. The only one that has been in operation is the Northeast Development Commission, which has been under the supervision of the presidency. Just as NDDC was under the supervision of presidency before, was given over to the Ministry of Niger Delta. So in terms of supervision, it doesn't mean that the management will be taken away and given to the ministry. The management is still effectively in place. For instance, before I came in, or rather before now, the NDDC itself was under the effective supervision of the presidency. And when the President Buhari discovered that it was necessary to bring NDDC under the supervision of the ministry, it was so done as at that time, and I inherited it. And we have been working with the management team, that is, the management team and the board. So also, these other regions, such as the Northeast Development Commission and all other commissions that are going to be set up, they are set up along with management team. You have a board, you have a management, the managing director and executive directors. These are the people operating this commission, day-to-day activities of the commission. They report directly. The ministry is like a coordinating agency that supervise the activities of this very region. So there's nothing like people managing them before having conflict. Nothing like that.
Right, that's good to know. I'm sure you're aware, Mr. Minister, that the Senate has just passed for third reading a bill to establish the South-South Development Commission, which means more commissions will come under your purview. And the question really is this not a little unwieldy at a time when the sentiment is tilting more towards decentralization? But here we are, we're centralizing the supervision of all regions within the Niger, that's the development, Regional Development Commission. I'd like you to respond to that. And then again, 15% of state allocations is being recommended for funding these commissions. Talk to us about that. Is that what you envisage?
Well, first, let me answer the last leg of your question. In terms of the funds allocated, I think that is purely a parliamentary function. I'm sure if you had listened to the Senate President today when he was addressing the Senate, he did measure it clear. So as to the amount of money to fund this agency, that is purely a parliamentary assignment, which I wouldn't want to delve into now. Then on the issue of centralizing the supervision, there's nothing like centralizing here. The day-to-day activities of this very commission are under the management team. Like I told you, you have a day-to-day activities of this very commission under the management team. All they need to do is that when they have challenges or they want to go to executive council, so they need to address for them, there must be somebody there to take to that very level, and that is the minister, and that is the ministry. So it's like centralizing when we are talking in terms of the centrality or whatever it is. The whole structure has been decentralized. That is the more reason why you have the different commissions in the different zones. So even as it is today, you say there's no ministry to supervise them. Definitely, they will still come to the national level because there are federal agencies, and all these federal agencies they still have to operate within the purview of a ministry or a. For instance, you have a university. You know how many universities you have in Nigeria. You know how many colleges of education, how many polytechnics you have. Why don't you ask yourself, why are all these institutions under the supervision of Ministry of Education? I think these are some of the things you also could ask yourself. So it's a similar thing. I don't see where you cannot say that this agency under the supervision of the ministry amounts to centralizing power. That is not true. That is not the issue. So I think the earlier people started to disabuse their mind as to what these commissions set to achieve, the better for everyone.
Yeah, and speaking of achievements of commissions, I mean, some would say since the Niger Delta Commission was set up, how much difference really has it made in the lives of the people in the Niger Delta? So what have you articulated your vision for this development commission, the Regional Development Commission? Tell us the key points of what you will be doing in the immediate.
Well, let me tell you, first of all, if you say what has NDDC done since it was set up, that would be very unfair because if NDDC were not in place, the situation would have been worse for the people of Niger Delta today. If you go to some communities in the Niger Delta region today, it is the impact of the NDDC that you can see there. So I don't think it is a assessment of what has been happening in that very agency that is being mentioned now. As to what we are going to do in the other region, a template has been set. For instance, in the Niger Delta, we follow the template that we've been working on in the Ministry of Niger Delta before, as it affects NDDC, and we apply it in all the regions. Like I told you, the regional developments across the various geopolitical zones, they are purely interventionist agency. And I can assure you that by the time they come fully on board, you will see more development in these very regions. Like you can see today in the south, or rather in the Niger Delta, there are some areas that ordinarily you would not be able to pass or go to. But for the fact that NDDC is intervening by making sure that life is made easy for the people, hence it becomes that. So I think a similar thing is going to happen in all these other development missions that have been set up.
Right. Thank you very much. Abubakar Momoh is Minister of Regional Development. Thank you for joining us on Newsnight, and we wish you all the very best.